YouTube, how's it going? The Goat House is back, and the Goat House woke up with a sore throat, pretty sick. Kind of weird that I just referred to myself as the Goat House, but we're gonna have to. I'm not gonna be able to talk as long as I normally do, unfortunately, so I apologize for that. We did the same video for the Thanksgiving games, so all 6 teams covered in that. It's the most recent video, so if you're looking for those games, those teams, go check that out. The Black Friday game will be in this video, so kind of got to get through this a little bit. We got other stuff to get to as well. Join us, like, subscribe to Nogates on, follow us on Twitter. Sponsors on your screen. Links pinned in the comments for anything you're looking for. You guys know the drill. So I have 5 biggest winners this week. You know, some week it's 5, some week it's 3, 2. The Rams probably the biggest winner. When they're healthy, they're good. Like they're sneaky good. They're a team I could see making the playoffs if they stay healthy. That is still the big question. They're explosive as hell. We saw it earlier in the year, and they kind of got beat up, and then they were even games they lost. It was like they played well enough to win, but I thought they had a decent shot of losing this game, and they go out there and just dominate them. I mean, right from the start. Kyron Williams, I mean, when he's healthy, he looks like one of the very best backs in football. So that's something that kind of, I don't want to say surprising because he's really good at Notre Dame, but it's kind of close to surprising. So it looks like they found one there, obviously. We kind of knew that earlier in the year. But yeah, just a really good outing, and that's kind of the main takeaway here for the Rams is they're watch out for the Rams. They're sneaky. It's like, if you got them on your schedule, it's like that's one. It's like, a little scared of that one. So that's where I'm at with the Rams. Next, the Falcons, another big winner. They win 24-15, and it was a little sloppy play, mainly from the quarterback, Desmond Ridder, in this one, but overall, I mean, they're up here for multiple reasons. That's a huge divisional win to get themselves in first place. Yes, the Falcons are in first place. I guess they kind of control their own destiny here to make the playoffs, so that's huge. I thought it was a solid team effort, an outing, defense, and they gave up some yards, but they create turnovers. I thought big plays, like in the red zone, third down, whatever it was. They stop the run, they make a big play through the air. Jesse Bates, best safety in football. That pick six, like if they don't have that pick six, they probably don't win this game. I know they won by 9, but that really got things going there. Getting Bijan going as well. He looks electrifying the way he looks smooth. Just getting through the hole and after the hole looks really smooth. Again, I thought it was a total team outing. There was times where they looked like they were going to go up huge or big, and then Ridder did have the turnover. He did have good moments too, but it feels like all these good Falcons games are the same. Like they move the ball fairly easy. They make plays on defense, but then the quarterback turns it over specifically in the red zone, in the end zone too. So that's kind of that one thing here. Bates and London stood out to me. Another big winner. The Broncos, hottest team in football. They continue to roll. I'm actually going to put the Broncos in an elite category. It's pretty specific. Are they an elite football team? No, but I think they have an elite physicality. In that department, they are, I think, elite. And they're both sides of the ball. They fly all around the field, making plays. See the offensive line. You see the running backs out. There was a drive where it felt like the Browns were going to get back in the game. And it's like Javonte Williams, P. Ryan, Javonte. And they're just breaking tackles, just wearing the defense out, and they score. And that's where it was like, before that point, it's like, the Browns might win this game. They might come back and win this game. So, and they force turnovers because of the physicality. Sometimes, I guess, a couple interesting calls by the Browns that kind of they just fumbled because the mistakes the players had in the decision. But I think all that what I said kind of goes together. Like the physicality plays a part on this team improving, this team winning, this team playing better, this team creating turnovers, this team grinding out offensive possessions to roll the clock, wear the defense out, keep the offensive sideline, and win the football game. So that's kind of the first thing when I say Broncos right now, what's the first thing you think of? I think it's that. The winning and the playmaking is becoming contagious because everyone could agree there's been some turnovers throughout this that they forced throughout this streak that they've been a little fortunate. It's not a negative take or anything like that. There's some of them are like that, but it's becoming contagious where they're just used to making these plays and just getting their hands in the ball because, I mean, teams drop the ball. They lose the ball all the time. You don't always cover it. It seems like the Broncos are just finding ways to get their hands in the ball. So obviously it's a positive, whether it's fortunate or not at times. And I thought Russ was clutch with his legs. I don't know if the stats will really show that at the end of the game, But I thought early in this game to get a lead, mainly extending plays with his legs. In the last few weeks, like during the streak, it kind of looked like the younger Russ in terms of his legs. He's making smarter decisions as well. He doesn't have that arm talent down the field like he used to. It's not like it's awful or anything, not even close to awful. But it kind of looks young with his legs, so I like that. Broncos continue to roll. Another one, the Colts. Watch out for the Colts, a little bit of a sneaky team right now. They win 27-20. A game I thought they were probably going to be like just X's and O's, like on paper. I thought the Bucs kind of had the advantage. I thought they were pretty even teams, but the Colts go out there and they win this game. They were better pretty much the whole way. The first drive looked pretty good from the Bucs. And then, I know Baker went. They probably could have scored a touchdown there, but other than that, I thought the Colts just looked better. And I guess if there was one negative, I guess keeping the Bucs in the game when they probably shouldn't have, but they had control of this game. I think they're pretty clutch. Like when you need to get a fourth down, when you need to get a third down, when you need to continue to run clock to keep that advantage, it feels like they execute pretty well. It all looks smooth. The players executing, but I think it goes to the coaching. We loved the Shane Steichen hire when it happened, and they're winning games off coaching, like purely coaching. Like they're scheming ways up to win. It's a tough game plan still here in Week 12, so it's a pretty good sign. Because I don't know if they really fully have the talent yet for Steichen either, but he's finding ways, and they do have talented players, and they're fine. They're executing well as well. Red zone defense continues to, play pretty well. The defense isn't the best in the world. They played very good in this game, but it's not like the top tier defense. But in the red zone, they kind of look like it at times. I think they got key pressure in this game as well. Abukum it felt like he was everywhere. Jonathan Taylor grinding out yards, ending the game. Pittman stood out as well. So the Colts are kind of a sneaky team right now. And the Jags didn't really have a long list like the other teams like that impressed me like big time. But mainly this was just a huge win. If they lost this game to the Texans and were down and they lost both games to the Texans, that means they got closer in terms of overall record. Like there was a decent possibility they don't win that division. Like we're not really worried about playoffs, but like there was a decent possibility, but the difference with even going 1-1 and winning this game, they separate themselves even more. So just winning this game for division and playoff implications, huge, absolutely huge. So I think they're pretty explosive. They need to be. They could close out a little bit better though. I guess if you had a nitpick, it felt like all right, the Jags are going to win this game. Like wait, Texans are back in it. But the Jags have these explosive plays that really won them the game. The run defense is top tier. They let Stroud scramble a bit. I guess technically that's run defense, but a lot of the time it's pass defense. Just stopping running backs. The Jags are one of the best in football, and we said that going into this year. That's kind of why I like the Jags defensive line better than some people did. I know their pass rush could be underwhelming at times, but you have to stop the run to win big games. And it shows even more in the playoffs. Like if you can't stop the run, we saw it in the second half of the Jags-Chargers game. The Chargers couldn't stop the run. But if you can't stop the run, you're not going to win championship football. You're not going to win playoff football. So they are very good stopping the run. So that history shows you can look every single year, multiple teams. It's a good sign for the playoffs. If you can stop the run at this high of a level, if you kind of take away a part of a team's game and make them scared to do a certain thing, that's pretty good. Josh Allen, I thought, had a monster game as well. So big winners. Jags are 5 big winners this week. Other winners that stood out. I mean, the Eagles were a little sketchy at some point. I mean, they early they couldn't get much going on offense. Turn the ball over, and then the defense still could be moved. You could move the ball on them. We saw that in the second half, but man, that's a big win against a big time team, despite their record. I don't really care what the Bills' record is in this case. Just so damn clutch. They continue to show it. Winning's contagious. They find ways to win. It's just like it's championship mentality there for the Eagles. The Giants, another elite defensive day. I mean, they're beat up. They have DeVito at quarterback. He's definitely playing better than he was a couple weeks ago. So I get another good look. We were starting to go south on the coaching staff. Earlier in the year, the defense wasn't playing good. Offensively kind of a mess. And Dayball, the way he's kind of handled things, a mess. But the last few weeks, again, more than the last few weeks for defense, but the defense improving. I know they played the struggling Patriots, but still. And the offense, I mean, being that beat up and finding ways to, I know they didn't do a whole lot, but get the job done. I mean, just look at what Dayball is dealing with, at quarterback. There's other teams that have better quarterbacks and are struggling far more in that category. Dolphins, felt like they won from the start. Defense improving, it kind of feels like it, but it is a question because they played, Tim Boyle and the Jets. They did dominate this game. They got playmakers everywhere. At one point, it kind of felt like they were going to keep the Jets in the game. Like Tua's got to cut it out with those, those types of turnovers because that is the negative thing here. And the Steelers, they slight progress for offense. They fire Matt Canada and they have their first 400-plus yard game in a while. So it's a good thing. It's something it's a win. It's something to be happy about. I do think, I'm on Twitter nonstop, especially during Sunday. It was like, I don't know if it was really a Steelers fan thing, but it was more like actual report. It was left and right. My whole timeline was like, wow, like the Steelers are fixed. Like they got over 400 yards for the first time. Like, of course it's something to be happy about, but I thought people were pushing that a little too much. You have that many yards, you should execute and score points. So it's still a little bit of an issue that they're not getting in the end zone. So what is that issue there? And their one touchdown was off Bengals Browning interception. They were starting to move. They didn't score on that interception, but that kind of got the momentum, got the offense going off a turnover. So it still is like definitely a work in progress to me. So I do want some people to kind of pump the brakes a little bit there. But overall, yeah, you can be, I mentioned this on Twitter and people getting all bent out of shape. I'm not saying you can't be happy. I'm not saying you can't celebrate this win, but I think, and I don't know, fans were getting mad at me. I wasn't really singling out the fans. I actually saw people I follow, like people like that putting it out there. I'm like, it was my notifications nonstop. And it's like, all right, it's good, but it's a little much right now. Go out there and execute on the points. Beat a Joe Burrow-less team a little easier than that. But maybe I'm not doubting like that they're gonna get the point. Like they're gonna continue with the yards. This might be just a start. Definitely a possibility. So, but defensively, yeah, they end up getting the job done. It felt like the Bengals could win that game for a little bit. Great adjustments for the Chiefs. I mean, yeah, they looked a little sus to start. I mean, we're getting outplayed by the Raiders, and the Raiders were getting good separation on them too. That's kind of something that teams haven't been doing on the Chiefs defense. But so you can't really start like that. And the Chiefs, just something about the Chiefs don't really feel like the last couple of years. They're still a very good team. They just don't feel quite there. Maybe they can get there, but they did have great adjustments, and they show how explosive they are. I'd like them to get Rasheed Rice going more because every time he touches the ball, I mean, he does have some drops. There's still some drops there for the receivers, but it seems like he really can, get going. He's really good after the catch. Titans stay undefeated in Nashville. I almost said home, but the Ravens game in London was technically a home game. So on the actual standings, it'll show them with one home loss, but they are undefeated at actual home in Nashville, Nissan Stadium. Pete was there and they won, so that's good. It's 1-1 when Pete goes to the game. They made it a little close. I don't love that, but they got the job done. They got Derrick Henry going more, which was needed. I'm still wondering where that Will Levis, the first time he came in, I know the offensive line's not doing him any favors, but maybe it was kind of a game plan factor. That's why he played so well, but really haven't seen those flashes. Usually they're a little bit better at home, but they do get the job done. They had control of this game for the most part. The Ravens had an elite defensive outing. Love that defense. Playmakers everywhere. They're a lockdown defense. Lockdown guys everywhere. Pretty damn well coached by Mike McDonald. But I wasn't really thrilled with the Ravens in general on the day because if you would have said, if you saw the future, if I saw the future and I knew the result of this game and I told you the Chargers were going to turn the ball over 4 times, and I guess more if you count turnover on downs, but turn the ball over 4 times, and the Ravens were going to turn the ball over 0 times, playing against one of the worst defenses in football, how would you predict it to go down? You would predict an absolute ass beating, every one of you out there. So the fact that the Chargers had a shot with that is interesting. I know that it was a kind of a sneaky trap game because the Chargers adjusted some things, but I thought their adjustments, I heard that going in, but that they were going to adjust some things. But I thought their adjustments was kind of on paper playing worse players. So I don't know, if it's an excuse for the Ravens. They did get the job done. It's just, where was the offense in that game? I still wonder about the receivers, without Mark Andrews there. Zay Flowers did have 2 scores. Um, I would like his tracking ability and hands to be better down the field. Odell's not a guy that's going to be full go every single play, it seems, anymore. So after all this, it still kind of feels like they could be better in that category. I thought Isaiah Likely was pretty solid, though, in this game. Really good after the catch. But, yeah, it's a weird game because the defense was so good. Just the defense had to win it against the Chargers is what it came down to. I didn't like kicking the field goal at the end, and I know it sounds bad on my part because it's after the fact. Justin Tucker missed a field goal. Did you really think he's missed a field goal? No. But I thought they were going to go for that and put the game away. Because I knew they trusted their defense. They probably went, all right, we held them to 10 points all game. I understand that thinking, but the Chargers actually moved the ball not crazy well. They just kind of shot themselves in the foot, or there was like a turnover the Ravens caused, whatever. I think if you get that first down, which you're very capable of against a weaker defense, and having Lamar Jackson in multiple different scenarios you can go with, and you kind of just end that game. So there was things that, how do you let the Chargers stay in this game? How do you actually come somewhat close to losing this game? What's happened? So I had that, might have more negative takes on the Ravens this week than positive, to be honest, but I do love the defense, and I still love the offense. It's just they got to close these ones out. They kind of struggle to close those games out. They should. The biggest losers, the Bucs, just from the beginning of the year till now, seem like they're declining. They seem sloppy, unprepared. Those fourth down conversions they allowed, allowing JT to break loose at the end of the game to close the game out. Some turnovers on offense as well. But, Bulls, a defensive-minded coach, and that team just not, guys aren't covering. There's nobody covering guys. They don't know, they're not accounting for all the guys. That, to me, that's coaching. So it does seem like the beginning of the year they won off, new look, not a Brady-looking team. It's a new-looking team, and they're tough to game plan for. They were a little lucky earlier in the year as well. Because teams don't just decline, as the year goes on like that, unless that's the case. So not the best look for the Bucs and mainly Todd Bowles. Cardinals, bad post-script. After the script, they're pretty bad. 2 weeks in a row. That sounds familiar. That sounds like Cliff Kingsbury era. It's a totally different offense, but it sounds like the same. Like they'd be so explosive off the start. It's that college script. Go down there, look pretty damn good, even to start years sometimes, and then it kind of goes south. They're not good in situational stuff. So, I know Kyler Murray is not nowhere near the number one problem, not even close, but you start to wonder, does that come with him? College-style quarterback, we did wonder before he played, is he going to fit this new pro-style offense? So I think the Cardinals are actually in a tough spot. Of course, they need more talent around Kyler Murray, but they're in a tough spot this offseason because they got to, I guess that we still got to go off the upcoming games. They're going to have to decide, is there a quarterback that's going to fit this offense better, how we want to run it, a pro-style. They want to run a West Coast-style offense. It's a tough call, tough decision because they can get a lot now for Kyler Murray if they trade him. That was kind of the talk before he came back in. Then that kind of went away. Could it come back up right now? So I know they really don't have the talent. The Rams have felt like gutted their team as well, though. It's what's going on? They look really good off that first score, and then what happens? Then the run defense is atrocious. Hard to win games with the run defense like that. But offense has got to get back to moving the ball. Saints, turnovers and injuries. It's kind of the same thing for the Saints every year. At this time of the year, they get really beat up. Was the case in this game. I think they could have won this game if it wasn't for turnovers or injuries. Definitely both. And it's a bad loss because you look at the NFC South. Everyone's so close. You're playing the Falcons, your biggest rival. You got to win this game. And they had opportunities and they kind of let it slip. So that one's got to sting a little bit. Pick six by Carr early. Man, that's tough. Just turnovers in good situations. Taysom Hill, surprised he fumbled in that situation. So that's a tough one. Major QB problem for the Patriots. It's bad. I was not expecting it to be this bad. I thought Mac Jones would be far. I didn't think he'd be great, but I thought he'd be far better than he was this year. That he is. He is far worse than expected. He's got the yips. He's got something. He's got the worst interceptions on the year. If you had to pick out 5 of the worst interceptions on the season out of any quarterback, he's probably got 3 of them at least. And then Zappy comes in. I'm all right, I'm not expecting great things from Zappy, but he's going to be better. It's going to be fixed. They're probably going to score. And it's just bad. So is it? So then you go to, is it on the offensive, system, play designs, play calls? It makes you think that, but things are there. They're moving the ball, and then and they turn the ball over. So I don't know. But I do question coaching a little bit because they're not getting the job done. Purposely playing for a field goal at the end. I guess deep down I can understand because you don't want your quarterback to turn the ball. It kind of goes back to the game a few weeks ago. I forgot who the hell they were playing. I don't know why I'm forgetting, but they were in field goal range and they got like a tipped interception. So they didn't want that to happen again, and the kicker should make a 35-yarder. He misses it, missing Nick Folk right now. So there's a lot of issues for the Patriots, like maybe the worst team in football, I guess, after the Panthers. Bills look pretty good. Either they outplayed the Eagles for the most part in this game, but another choke. Like you got to win these games, especially what your record is and how good the AFC is and with the rest of your schedule. You got to find a way to close these out, win these games. Like, it's brutal. Like that, if they don't make the playoffs, we're going to go back to games like this. It's absolutely brutal. They did look pretty good. The defense looked really good in the first half. I don't know what happened in the second half. But coaching, you got to look at them because they just continue. They just continue to lose like this. So it kind of and they have talent. They're outplaying maybe the best team in football. So you kind of point it towards coaching. I know the refs definitely were not on their side in this game. That was pretty brutal, but even with that, and it's unfortunate, but even with that, you got to find a way to close it out. They had an opportunity they had an opportunity before overtime, but even in overtime, Gabe Davis, and that was a tough one. That one I can discuss with you guys all day because I definitely see, there was no safeties. The middle of the field was wide open, so technically Josh Allen made the right read, but you can also, and you see Davis mad at himself, but you also can argue, like, Davis isn't like a speedy guy, so for him to cut inside, get him to cut inside and go, are you asking too much? He's an NFL player. He shouldn't really be, I guess. I guess his decision kind of shows a lack of confidence with his speed and be able to get out in further space. But then again, Gabe Davis is to, I guess, to side with him in a way. He was open. He gained separation. So doesn't need to be a situation where you read and you throw the receiver open. No, it's kind of just a pitch and catch situation. I do understand Josh Allen wanted, because he would have had to throw it in the corner of the end zone. It is a difficult throw no matter who you are. So kind of going back to Josh Allen. So it's just a tough situation. But for guys not being on the same page and the team choking situations, you do look at coaching. You do look at it. It's just it's very tough for the Bills there. Other negatives, the Chargers sloppy, unprepared. When I say unprepared, I just look at all time for Brandon Staley, but there are always these situations at the end of games, like specifically the blitz. Teams just blitz them. They don't know what to do. Like, Herbert doesn't make any adjustments. The offensive line doesn't make adjustments. Even a great tackle like Rashawn Slater doesn't make any adjustments. He just lets the guy go by him. But I think it starts with coaching. Like, how are they not prepared for that situation? I think it happens over and over again. The game-winning drives, the attempts at the game-winning drives feel the same over and over again. Super sloppy with the turnover. The turnovers got to go on the players. But, man, they had a winnable game. The defense finally plays well. They can't get the offense and defense on the same page at the same time. It's a mess over there right now. The Texans, didn't play all that bad. They gave up explosive plays. The running backs couldn't get going, but they had chances. They didn't play all that bad, but it's just a tough loss because if you win this game, you might, close to controlling your own destiny. You might be up. You might win that division. You lose this one, it really separates the Jags. So it's just a tough division loss, and they had chances. Kept thinking, the Jags I thought were deserving of winning that game. The officials were questionable in this game. I thought both sides, but mainly hurt the Texans maybe a little bit more. But they did miss a call on an interception that Trevor Lawrence threw. There was they were clearly making up. Like, they knew they messed up. I thought it was pretty. People say that all the time, and we go, I don't know, it's a makeup call. It's just kind of a call. This game, it felt like to me there were clear and obvious, like purposely a make-up call. So I hate that. Officials had a rough day between this game, but mainly the Bills-Eagles game. But opportunity for the Texans couldn't close out. Jets are declining from earlier in the year. They had some luck on their side then too, but you question coaching because there's some interesting decisions. People getting on the Jets going for that Hail Mary at the end. I definitely understand. I can argue both sides. My argument to side with Salah is, you got nothing going. So here's your chance. We might not get another chance to get the ball, throw the ball into the end zone. But you did just have a pick six. You got back in the game. So I'm going to side more towards, you don't do that. But you do question some coaching. The Browns are depleted with injuries, sloppy. But I do question coaching, like kind of going away from what's working and getting a little too cute for your own good. I mean, their first possession, right? I thought actually going to that, I thought Tillman got that first down. It felt like, and they blew the whistle as he was pushing across. It's kind of weird when guys are sitting still forever. They don't blow the whistle, but then guys finally start moving forward. They don't. But then they put the tight end at quarterback, a fumble, just overthinking, then that crazy reverse, whatever the hell it was. I mean, they shouldn't fumble it, but just overthinking. You're moving the ball like normally, and you can run on the Broncos. So, going back to the Vikings last week too. I mean, put a tight end at quarterback, pitch the ball to your running back or your quarterback. He's at running back, fumble the ball. Just kind of overthinking against the same team that just creates turnovers. So don't give them chances like that. So I do question coaching a lot in this game. The Panthers are a mess from the top down. They fired Frank Reich, which I don't know if I'm for or against it because I don't know. He's not getting the job done. They don't have the talent, but it's messy right now. The ownership is more of the problem with decisions he's made and who he's trusted to make decisions, but mainly himself. So it's just a mess. And they had a winnable game here, just really not getting the job done. Defense been playing better again, but just proving to be the worst team in football. Last couple, these two teams are listed at the bottom by themselves. I mean, these really, there's positives to take away, I suppose. The Raiders outplayed the Chiefs for a decent amount in this game. They're explosive. The receivers look great. Aiden O'Connell might have a future. The separation they get on a team that hasn't been allowing shots. That's why the Chiefs defense has been so good this year, because they don't allow separation. The Raiders are playing with energy still. They're very physical. They're just well coached right now. I look at Patrick Graham on the defensive side. I mean, they have Max Crosby. Don't get me wrong. They got other guys that can play, but on paper, not really. He doesn't look that great. I think Patrick Graham's a really good defensive coach. I know the second half of this game didn't go great, but they did blow a lead, but there are some positives. And the Bengals outplayed the Steelers for a decent amount of this game without Joe Burrow. They had chances. They could have won this game. Browning, the one interception was really brutal. I think it led to a Steelers touchdown too. But I would like them to get mixing the ball through the air a little bit more. He seemed to be dangerous in that category. And I thought that would happen because you think Browning would check it down more. So actually maybe weird that you're calling for check downs. Maybe just more design plays like that look like that, or screens at running back. Had their chances, but put up a pretty good fight. Actually could have won this game, which that's the negative part, but it's also could have won this game when they didn't have Burrow. It's just tough they lost Burrow for the year. But that is going to wrap it up for this one. Sorry this had to be a little bit faster. I still talked for a decent amount of time, more than I wanted to, but other things to get to. Hopefully I start feeling better to get to those things. We got picks video tomorrow night, too. I'm not sure what I'm going to do for that. But don't want to get anyone else sick, but we're always on Twitter talking with you guys. It's kind of some extra content there. So, going to do it. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.